Our first presenters are from Andelin Biosciences. They are Eric Blair, he's the Chief Commercial Officer, and Cyril Kellerhals, he is the Head of Manufacturing. Earlier this year, Andelin announced the launch of its third and final facility. It's the Andelin Corporate Center Clinical and Commercial GMP Manufacturing Facility. It's a 250,000 square foot facility. It produces gene therapy and viral vector manufacturing. They have 14 upstream rooms and a veteran staff to support phase 1 through commercial manufacturing. Welcome, Eric and Cyril.
Well, thank you very much, Perry. Really appreciate the introduction. And Andelin is really excited to present to you the first virtual walkthrough online here of our facility. This facility is, there's going to be some pretty big news coming up next week at both MESA and ESGCT, so be on the lookout for that. And it's my great opportunity to introduce Cyril Kellerhals, who's a 20-year veteran of Novartis in both manufacturing and quality control. And he is the head of our manufacturing. And so with that, I will pass it to Cyril to actually walk you through our ACC, Andelin Corporate Center, which is our clinical and commercial facility. And he will give you a really nice overview of the facility. Can you hear us, Cyril?
Absolutely. Thank you, Eric. Can you hear me?
We can.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. As Eric mentioned, my name is Cyril Kellerhals. I'm the head of manufacturing here at Andelin Bioscience here in Columbus, Ohio. My team supporting GMP plasmid and vector production. And we are really excited to really complete and start up and get this facility rolling. As Eric mentioned, it's quite a large facility. You will see that during this virtual walkthrough. We have all kind of capabilities from adherent to suspension especially interesting up to 2,000 liter. And we are really in the home stretch. What does it mean? We are really closing out all the validation qualification activities and pushing the last change controls through the system. So it's an exciting time, and I hope you enjoy this tour. So we are here in one of our hallways. This is a grade D hallway. And as I mentioned before, we are in this last stage of validation qualification activity. So we have a little bit more freedom to move around in this facility as we speak.
Cyril,
but as we, yeah.
Cyril, we're seeing the ceiling, so it might be good just to. There we go. Thank you.
Thank you. As we really closing out and closing up all the documentations in the next couple of weeks, we are then ready to do our operations. As part of the introduction, I already mentioned, it's a massive facility, and the facility has really a couple of unique features. We have a cell culture room for adherent and a cell culture room for suspensions. We have the capability and the capacity to grow cells 365 days a year. So what this means for a client, we don't start your production when the cells are, when you send the PO or the SOW over. We are ready to grow cells and start the production for you immediately. Each manufacturing space has a dedicated entrance and exit for material and personnel. And I'm here with the cart in one of the material airlocks, which will open shortly. It's have to separate from each other to allow differential pressure. So this is CP1. This is our room for adherent cell culture. You see here one of the biosafety cabinets. All the biosafety cabinets in this facility are exhausted to the outside. So it's the facility is designed to reduce contamination across the rooms, in general contamination. to an absolutely minimum. We see here incubators, media warmers, and then we have on the other side, we have a second biosafety cabinet, which is, as mentioned earlier, exhausted as well. This room specifically, again, is for adherent. We have a duplicate room on the other side, which is for suspension. And we have, of course, we start with a 50-liter bioreactor to grow the cells, as we need enough capacity to go up to our 2,000-liter Pol bioreactor, which is undergoing qualification on site at the moment as we speak. We have to wait till the one door closes, so there's a slight delay, but it's of course per our internal specifications. So we have, when you look down here, we have on the right-hand side, we have all our manufacturing suites. We have a total of 8. Each manufacturing suite has the same capability. We have all the critical utilities there, all have the same ceiling height, etc. And we have really maximum stability. So if you look for an Ethereum production platform, if you look for suspension, if you look for an iCELLis 500, whatever it is, we can really help you with any kind of challenges. We have, at the moment, we have one manufacturing suite is programmed for our Ethereum platform, and then we have 2 manufacturing suites focusing just solely on suspensions. Again, they're from 200 to 2,000 liter batch sizes. So let's go into MO1.
And Cyril, as we're going into MO1, maybe you could talk about the fact that we're 5 months early here.
Absolutely. Yes.
We have a late phase client who asked us to be early in the build. And thus we have 3 of the 8 downstairs rooms, which are very large rooms, as you can see, that are open and qualified. And then we'll bring those other ones on over the next 12 weeks. But I'll turn it back to you, Cyril.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's correct, Eric. Even with the whole pandemic, the engineering team did a fabulous job to accelerate that. And we had our original day one was 2023 in January, and we accelerated that significantly. So this is one of our upstream manufacturing rooms, and it looks kind of empty. My staff was always joking, "What are you doing in this room?" I say, when you have a 2,000 liter bioreactor in there, it looks definitely not empty anymore. It's way fuller, and it is. So this is adherent. We have incubators. We can here run for each production cycle 60 hyperstacks, and you see here a couple of hyperstacks sitting here on this table. Again, biosafety cabinets exhausted. What is important to mention, all the manufacturing suites have 100% fresh air. So the air comes through and gets exhausted, 100% pass through in here. We have hardstone epoxy resin flooring. The whole first floor on the manufacturing side has the same concept. And then we have AES panel. And really what is interesting on the neat thing is we can flex our needs. If needed, we can add power, we can add, etc. Whatever is needed in the really neat way with the AES panel concept.
And so as we speak to that flex capability, we could have 8 2,000-liter suspension platforms. We could have 7 500 and a 2,000-liter. We certainly still run a lot of adherent. We can do up to 60 hyperstacks per each of these rooms. So very significant throughput capacity as well as flexibility.
All right, so you will see on this side again here, we're going out on the other side down the hallway, and you definitely get enough steps when you work at Andelin in the future. We're going into the suspension room upstream with our bioreactor.
And so as you can see here, it's very long corridors, and everything is pre-engineered and pre-planned to make sure that no contamination and ensure that there is, highest level of flexibility. As Cyril steps into this room, you're going to see the suspension platforms. Last week we were running the 2,000 liter as Cyril indicated, and I think today we showed the 500 liters. Is that correct, Cyril?
Correct, Eric. So this is one of our suspension suites, biosafety cabinet on the left-hand side here. And then we have over here, we have our Pall bioreactors. We have a 200 liter there in the corner. Site acceptance, factory acceptance test, cycle acceptance test, all completed. Just wrapping up the paper. You see that the TCU there. We try to get all the TCUs, all the stuff upstairs. We have a walkable ceiling to really, again, reduce the contamination by all the equipment in the room. And then this is our 500 liter Pall bioreactor. With the larger TCU. We have a mixer, and then we have our Repligen system here as well, ready to go. So what was kind of empty in the Terran platform rooms, this is getting a little bit more busier, and the 2,000 liter room is even more packed with equipment there. We have a 2,500 liter mixer in there, so you can imagine it's quite material which we have to move around. To do that, we have in the warehouse, we have 2 massive really drive-in cold rooms. You could really place an 18-wheeler in there, and there's still some space left and right to really manage all the material which are required to run successfully a 2,000 liter suspension.
Built with our users in mind. We're a 100% CDMO. We're focused on the outcomes of our clients and their ability to bring their products to their patients. As we'll talk later, and as Cyril indicated earlier, we've actually taken out a lot of the steps to really reduce the cycle time for a product to be manufactured. Analytical, which are 2 of kind of the key areas that really slow down release of product. And of course, we're experts at releasing the vector product as well, the vector manufacturing. So our intent and understanding of our clients is that really the time between phases, preclinical to clinical, Clin 1 to 2 and later phases, is kind of the valley of death. And so our job is to really reduce the amount of time for you to get there And Andelin clients are going to be able to have access to multiple tools to reduce those cycles by as much as a half, 50% of the standard cycle time. So the part of this is the major investments you see in the facilities that we have here. You can see the motion activated doors there. Those are always really cool. And Cyril's going to take you into the downstream room, I believe.
Correct. This is one of our downstream rooms. Going back to what Eric mentioned, everything is built with flexibility in mind. This multiple platforms to purify your product. So let me come in here. So right-hand side, as usual, we have biosafety cabinets, and then we have two platforms. We have here an all-column platform for, of course, when you go larger volume, and then we have more for the adherent side. We have multi-centrifugation 3 in here, and which allows us to do an idexinal gradient step. Both rooms are identical to allow maximum flexibility for our clients. So whatever you need, we can go one or the other. And if there's something new down the road in the market, no problem. We can adapt that. We can tech transfer it in. So we're happy to take on this task. We have a large PD and AD organization which has their own separate building. So we are happy to really accommodate all the challenges and activities you require. Wait. All right. And that's from my side, Eric, and everybody on the line.
Thank you very much, Cyril. That was an excellent tour. Really appreciate you spending the time to walk the audience through this. I'm just going to take a quick moment to share this 250,000 scaled facility and a little bit about Andelin. Many people are very aware of Nationwide Children's Hospital, which was the precursor for Andelin's manufacturing group. And Andelin's name actually came from Andrew and Evelyn. It's an inspiration for Andelin to remind ourselves that the patients are the most critical part of our journey here. And we built this for the patients, the sponsors, and the clinicians and researchers that are bringing this to bear. Andrew was actually just at our ribbon cutting event for one of our other facilities, Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. He's currently 25 years, 8 weeks old when she receives Zolgensma, which was originated out of Nationwide Children's Hospital as well, and is one of the very few products approved out there. And she is now 7 years old. Her older sister passed away of the disease, but she is running around like a young child should. So, long story short, this is the origin of our name, and we feel like a really important, this valley of death. And so if we can save you 3 to 10 months, that equates to, tens of millions to tens of millions of dollars saved in the process. And of course, you can trust the work that comes out of Andelin. We'll talk about it in just a minute, but we've done over 450 GMP batches, so significant level of expertise here. The other thing is, for those that are considering building their own facilities, you've just seen a reason why you can now turn to a variabilization in your manufacturing. And so it is really an important ability that we understand back in 2015, 2016, even to 2019, there wasn't good, capable capacity out there. But now there is. And so there's some documentation, some white papers written by Wayne Woodard over at Argonaut Manufacturing Services, where he's been in three different sectors: computer electronics, semiconductor, and life sciences. And he speaks to how those other two, computer electronics and semiconductor, very effectively use CDMOs. As you can see, Cyril can probably speak to the fact that just to clean this facility takes a large effort to do that. And to run a GMP facility, it's a pretty significant effort. Wouldn't you say, Cyril?
Absolutely, that's correct. It's definitely one of the opportunities which we have to overcome as part of the startup, to have really an approach which doesn't cut corners around from a quality and compliance perspective, but is still a focus to offer the best solution to our clients.
That's exactly it. And so, you know, as drug makers, you need scaled. We've been doing this for over 20 years. You've just seen 250,000 square feet of our, greenfield space. This is on the Ohio State campus in their innovation district. It's the very first building that went on there. We have over 450 batches, over 75 INDs approved. And so it's a company that you can trust. We're also backed by two very trusting and very financially solvent companies: Nationwide Children's Hospital, a nonprofit, as well as Danaher, with the investment from Paul. As we talked about, we're located in Columbus, Ohio. Very strong leadership team, and this facility was built over the last 2 years, and we're super excited to bring clients on board now that the 3 facilities have been finished. You'll have these slides, so I won't walk through these, but I wanted to share. We're standing, Cyril is standing in the ACC, the Andelin Corporate Center, clinical and commercial facility. We have a preclinical 50,000 square foot preclinical manufacturing and development for all the needs in preclinical PD, AD manufacturing. And then, of course, we also have our APC, the Andelin Plasmid Center. That is our research talks, and now sure that drug makers can really accelerate their concept to commercialization. That is our entire intent, is to support and be the experts in gene therapy for our customer base. And of course, it's all governed by quality control, quality assurance. Even Cyril has spent years in QC prior to taking on this GMP leadership role. So I'll leave the audience with the fact that Andelin is currently looking for 5 new partnerships in manufacturing for mid and late phase clinical. And so if you have an interest in that, you can contact me at eric.blair@andelinbio.com. And if we have a few minutes here, we believe it's important for you to choose an experienced team strategic partner, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, gentlemen. We are out of time, and I'm getting the hook, but I want to get to a couple questions. There's a poll question for our attendees, but let's get to, I'm going to ask them both at the same time. They're short questions. One comes from Wayne. Do you have the capability for T-cell manufacturing? And 2, from Barbara, do you have any clients making mRNA?
So we have some clients that we do parts of the mRNA process. and T cells. Cyril, can you address that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can absolutely do that. Again, you saw the flexibility. We have the rooms, we have the staff, we have the equipment. We can definitely bring that in. As Eric mentioned, our current focus is on AEV, plasmid, and what we did mention here, but also Lenti as well. So we are happy to accommodate any kind of requests. We have, as Eric mentioned, we have a rich history. Andy Morio, Will Fountain are 15 plus years with the company. They saw pretty much everything. So I'll be happy to really accommodate any requests. And again, we would start our process at the ADC, at the Anlin Development Center, and then from there we would transfer it into this new facility here.
Yeah, and just gene therapy in general, we're willing to look at any of the modalities out there, whether it's gene editing, exosomes, liquid nanoparticles, etc. So we can support that, certainly Lenti and AAV. And then other parts like mRNA, we can have a conversation. If someone's already in the clinic, they can transfer directly to our clinical and commercial facility. If they're already in commercial, they can do the same.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great tour, and we didn't have to gown up, and really love the story of your name. So great job.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.